Thank you for tuning in to the Real News Network. My name is Jahan Hafiz, and we're coming to you from Washington, D.C. Israel plans to expand its assault on the besieged Gaza Strip after the high-profile assassination of Ahmed al-Jabri, a top military commander of Hamas. The Israeli government was quick to take responsibility for the death of al-Jabri, releasing this video of the targeted airstrike that took his life and the life of his 14-year-old son, among others. The attack comes after days of aerial bombardment from the Israelis and rocket launches from the Palestinians. The latest assault on Gaza has been likened to the 2008-2009 Gaza War, where over 1,500 Palestinians were killed, 300 of them children, and thousands more injured. During that same war, 13 Israeli soldiers were killed. Gaza has been under non-stop aerial bombardment for the past 48 hours as Israel vows to expand its attacks. The assault has been dubbed by the Israeli government as Operation Pillar of Cloud. Gaza, an occupied Palestinian territory, has been under siege by Israel since 2007, following the popular election of Hamas. The U.S. and Israel deems Hamas a terrorist organization. The Israeli blockade of Gaza has been called the largest man-made humanitarian catastrophe in the world by former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. The siege has also been condemned by world dignitaries and leaders, members of the European Parliament, and even some politicians here in the United States. We go now to the Gaza Strip, where we are joined by Harry Fear, who is a freelance journalist who has been reporting on the ground in Gaza since the beginning of this month. Harry, thank you so much for joining us here on the Real News Network.
You're very welcome.
Harry, for our viewers who are unfamiliar with with what's been happening in Gaza for the past couple of days, please briefly give us an update on where this violence escalated, how it started, and what the situation is like now on the ground.
At a standard week, there are assassination attempts, and usually innocents are either injured or killed. There was an escalation above that benchmark at the weekend, in which a few children were killed, including a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old. I made an independent video documentary report covering that situation called Martyred in Gaza.
And actually, Harry, we're showing some of those images right now. Martyred in Gaza from the GazaReport.com by Harry Fear is the video that our viewers are watching at the moment. Sorry about that. Please continue.
It's okay. So since that, Israel has started Operation Pillar of Cloud. This is a biblical reference, I'm told, to a biblical story in which the Jewish people are protected by a cloud. So it's using, the state of Israel is using such language with this military operation. It started with the assassination of the Hamas second top Hamas military leader here in Gaza. Since then, over 110 people have been injured and at least 13 people have been killed. There have been dozens of airstrikes. Tens of tanks amass the Israeli border with Gaza. There are at least 10 Israeli naval vessels off the coast, which are visible just from my position in central Gaza City. The streets here are totally, it's like a ghost strip. The whole place is a ghost town. The electricity is off on the grid. Some people have generators, most don't. So in the North Gaza Strip, it's been confirmed by at least 3 credible sources that the Israeli Air Force has dropped leaflets. There is a precedent for that. Israel does do that under some circumstances, so that's not a big surprise. These leaflets have said that an Israeli ground invasion incursion is imminent. Statistically speaking, most of the population of the Gaza Strip are actually under the age of 18. So when we speak about state terrorism afflicting the population of Gaza, most of the people who are afflicted are under the age of 18.
Now, Harry, speaking of those under the age of 18 in Gaza who are being affected by this violence, some of the most gruesome images to start filtering through the social media, including Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, include the images of children who have been killed in the latest violence, including these images of a 3-year-old girl who was burnt to death as a result of an Israeli airstrike. This is an image of her before she was killed. Other images include the son of a BBC journalist in Gaza. This is the image of that BBC reporter holding the body of his 11-month-old 5-year-old son. Now, I wanted to show our viewers some of the video that you captured in Gaza prior to the assassination attack on one of Hamas's top military commanders.
We were at the location of the first shelling, roaming, looking for injured people when the Israeli aeroplanes shot another missile just behind us.
It might be difficult for you to see, but this glass is actually cracked, and just up here there is a dent in the ambulance.
I went to the mortuary at Shifa Hospital in Gaza City. Last night, in the Shajaiya area, east of Gaza City, Israel killed Ahmed al-Dadasawi, 20, Mohammed Harara, 16, Ahmed Harara, 15, Matar Abu al-Attar, 20. It seems that religion is used to bring solace and strength to the hearts of grieving Gazans.
What they are doing, it's as if our children and families are less important, but they are very precious to us. I want to tell them, don't even dare to think that you will successfully terrorize us. We will continue the fight and the resistance.
As I speak and talk to hundreds of Gazans, I notice various striking things. The first is that not really anyone manages to get away from the mental, psychological burden of what's inflicted on Gaza. Every single person knows someone in their family who was killed in the last war. If you look at the statistics, almost 1% of the Gazan population were killed in Operation Cast winter 2008, winter 2009. You know, every street has bullets in it or some sort of damage as a result of that operation. The scars are left on the economy, the scars are left on the streets, the scars are left on people's minds. And when I speak to, as you said, first responders, paramedics here, I speak to ordinary people here, they are used to violence. It's not because they love violence. It's not because they love Israel bombing their homeland. It's because they are a third world defenseless, largely defenseless population imprisoned in this Mediterranean coastline strip. Working here is easy in the respect that it's easy to get access and speak to people. There are dangerous areas of the Gaza Strip which have to be avoided all the time, and we do that. Me and my crew do that. But at the moment, I live in what's a kind of quasi-green zone. In the context of this war, it's not a green zone. Nowhere is safe, as people who are listening to my live stream will know, because the doors have been shaking in the room that I'm in now. But normally this is a safer area of the Gaza Strip. But as we're told, during Operation Cast Lead, the building just behind me here received direct hits from naval warships. So during the war times, nowhere is safe in Gaza.
Harry Fear, thank you very much for joining us here on the Real News Network. Now, if you are interested in following Harry on the ground there in Gaza as this assault continues, you can go to his website at thegazareport.com, or you can follow him on Twitter at Harry Fear. The U.S. response to the latest attack in Gaza has, for the most part, sided with the Israeli narrative. State Department officials condemned the rocket fire from Gaza into Israel and said that Israel has the right to defend itself. Meanwhile, both Hamas and the Israeli government swapped threats on the social media website Twitter. Here you see the Israeli authorities threatening any Hamas operatives from showing their faces. And likewise, Hamas has said they have opened up the gates of hell. There will be demonstrations taking place in cities all over the world in support of the Palestinians in Gaza and in condemnation of the latest assaults on the Gaza Strip by the Israeli governments. Thank you for joining us here on the Real News Network. My name is Jahan Hafiz, and until next time, take care.